Do you feel that? Do you feel your sacred love? I was sitting there in my chair and I realized that when I'm sitting and there's music playing, I'm usually doing this. Well, we went to the Voices of the River concert on Friday, and how many of you were there? Well, there's a few of us, yeah. You know, our grace notes were performing as part of the Voices of the River. So that means my mom was up there on the stage singing her heart out, and she was in the front row in front of the stands, and so you were sitting, and she's just doing this. So that's where I get it. Singing, just a rocking in my seat with the music. So thank you, Mom, for that gift. And thank you, Grace Notes, and thank you, Voices of the River. It truly was just a really delightful concert. Joe and Mary were a young couple expecting their first child. With the due date approaching, Joe was becoming increasingly anxious. One evening, Anne was having some slight pains, but assured Joe that they were not serious. She was in the den, relaxing, when she heard Joe shaving, then began to throw on his clothes. What are you doing? Where are you going? She asked. Well, Joe said, you can sit here if you want to, but I'm going to the hospital. Joe and Mary. Joseph and Mary. Thought I'd play a little bit with that, but had to feed you that one, didn't I? At Christmas time, little Joey noticed the lights were going up all around the neighborhood. So he asked his mother, Mom, why do people put lights on their houses? She said they're celebrating Jesus' birthday. Joey asked, well, when is Jesus' birthday? And she said, he was born on Christmas. Jesus was born on Christmas? Joey exclaimed. What a coincidence. There is some confusion around Christmas, I think. My talk today is, see, what am I calling my talk today? So this is Christmas. That's what we'll call it. Because we have all of these symbols that we use, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about symbols later, but we have all these symbols that we use that really have nothing to do with what we say Christmas is about. And you may be surprised to know that the story that we tell is really sort of a myth. It's actually a combination of the story from the book in the Bible of Matthew and the book of Luke in the Bible. So it's a combination of two different stories, and then, would you agree with me, a lot of other embellishments. So, what we are fairly certain about is that the historical Jesus was probably born in Palestine toward the end of King Herod's reign to his parents, Mary and Joseph, who raised him in Nazareth. So that's about all that we can actually confirm, or that we know is absolutely true. So I'm wondering, how are you doing with that? Can we all breathe for a moment? Because, you know, I'm saying what I have learned in my research and sort of what I take to believe as truth, but that doesn't have to be your truth. But I would like to invite you to go home today, find a Bible, dust it off, and prove for yourself what is true. So what I'm going to throw out there today is that the Christmas story is a sacred myth that points to the truth. So it's probably safe to say that the writers of Matthew and Luke really weren't concerned as much about historical accuracy as they were about telling a story that would move us, that would change us, that would transform us. That's what stories are supposed to do. And so what we hope in the process of awakening to what Christmas really is that we will be transformed, that it will have some kind of meaning in our life for us. So I say all of that, and then I know that there's a large percentage of the population that this time of year is just dark and difficult and challenging. People who are entirely alone. People who may not even have warm memories of Christmas to draw upon. Right? There are those among us. And the rest of us, let's be honest, this time of year can be stressful. If nothing else, it can be stressful. And so think about those of us who are working. We are drawing upon pleasant memories of Christmas past that will never be again, right? Because so much has changed. So much has changed. So how do we get into the consciousness of Christmas? Well, this is what Unity invites us to do. To look at it metaphysically, to know that what we're celebrating is the birth of our own awareness of our own Christ self, our own divine self within. And so, of course, that doesn't happen just once a year, right? And sometimes it doesn't even happen every day. You wake up and you think, I'm really a divine being. I'm not feeling too divine right now. Ever wake up like that? Or am I the only one? So what we can hope to do on our journey towards Christmas, or maybe just Christmas Day, what is this season about? We have a tablecloth over there. It says it's the most wonderful time of the year. Can anybody agree with that? Or okay, so some of you are like in the spirit. You can get into that spirit thing. But the reality is, and I'm grateful that many, many years ago, I decided that I was not going to play into, I wasn't going to play into that. That sounds kind of negative, but I wasn't going to buy into what the culture puts on us in terms of the expectations for Christmas, which what I had come to see was spending beyond my means, and also taking time beyond my means. So doing so much stuff to be part of everything that I ignored my own self-care, that precious part of what it really is all about. Time to breathe with myself, time to awaken to a greater degree of the truth of who we all are, who I am, who you are. So all we can really hope to do is try to move the blocks away. Okay, so this what I've already said 10 times about who you really are and all of that, you hear that a zillion times and you're falling asleep on me. So it's not working just to say that. It's not working just to know that. What we have to do is remove the blocks that get in the way of being presently aware of that more and more in our lives. So let's think about it for a moment. What are those things? What are those blocks that get in the way of me being, of you being more waking up and saying, yeah, baby, I'm a divine being. Having a human experience, and so I'm aching a little bit, but I am wholly divine. And so that's just easy peasy stuff, right? Moving those blocks away, just go like this and that. No, I remember that it was really hard when I made the decision not to buy Christmas gifts anymore. Not going to do that. Not going to take the time and stress out about the money. And so there was that first Christmas when I arrived and everybody had gifts that they were given and I didn't. And I had to sit with that, the guilt of that. Knowing what my purpose was and knowing that it would get easier through the years. And it certainly has. It has gotten easier because nobody gives me gifts anymore. So I don't have to feel bad about giving something back because that's it, right? That's the flow. When we give, we receive. And people say, Natalie isn't giving, I'm not going to give to her. No, that's really not the way it works. There's such a joy. I love to give. I absolutely love to give when I can do it with joy. When I can do it without a sense of, I got to race out here before this time to get this something, and I don't know what to get them. And, can any of you relate to that? And then there are those folks that giving is their love language. And so they're like steeped in that. That's all they want to do all day long is just give. And so they can't relate to those of us who are like, oh gosh, what am I going to get for so-and-so? And how's this going to work out? How am I going to have time in my bank account? And da-da-da-da-da. So all that stuff, moving it out of the way so that I can center in the purpose of this season. So taking a little path from this particular topic, I have a real passion for inclusivity. So it's my goal, purpose in life seems to be to make sure that we do things, that I do things, and we do things here that are conscious of the diversity of people that might be in attendance. So that means different races, different ages, different genders, different sexual orientation, all of that. That we offer a space here. And that becomes very difficult at Christmas time, let me say that. Our wonderful bingo folks, and we don't have any of them here this morning, but our bingo folks are so awesome. I hope that at some point you will meet some of them. Mary Alice got to meet some, and I think Fran has too. And Jerry, of course, is one of our bingo callers, so he knows how cool our folks are. So they came in a couple weeks ago, did all the decorating here in the hall. And I came in and discovered on top of the Christmas tree an angel. That's where the angel belongs, right? On the top of the Christmas tree, or that's what's supposed to be on the top of the Christmas tree, right? Or no, I don't know. But this angel happened to be white and blonde. And it didn't sit right with me because because of course she was female too, wasn't a male angel. Have you ever seen a male angel? You have. Yes, like right there's one. Right there's one. Right there's one. There. Not leaving anybody out. How? Yes. All of these beautiful. So we had actually experienced this before. Remember, Barry, at the Shrine Building, when every year they put up this grand Christmas tree, and right on top was the white, yellow-haired angel. And so we went out and bought an angel of color and put her up there. Yes. And, I don't know whether they never noticed it, because we really never got, but what happened was, in the process of them taking the tree down, we lost our angel. So when I came in and I saw the angel, I thought, I wonder how I'm going to go about this in a non-political way. So one day when I was in here by myself, I just took one of the stars and replaced the angel with a star. Now, you can say, well, Natalie, not everybody likes stars. But actually, I looked it up yesterday. And the star can be a symbol of Christianity, right? The Star of Bethlehem. And also some groups have taken the 5 points of the star to refer to the 5 wounds of Jesus. And also the single stroke of the star can represent the beginning, Alpha, and the end, Omega, 1. Right? The Mormons use it in their temples. The Jews have the Star of David, which has 6 points. And the other day, we were walking in our neighborhood, and we saw the Star of David lit up in somebody's front of their house. And I thought, yay! There's some a little tiny bit of diversity in our community. And what I can only pray, hope and pray, is that that home and that family remains safe, because there is a lot of hatred still in our world for differences. That leaves for me a big old question mark. I just don't get it. If you don't look like me, if you don't believe like me, then I hate you. And so we bring all of those people into our hearts, because we know that as we continue to love them, see beyond their hatred, that's the only way that they can heal, and so we can all heal. Now there's the mystic side of Judaism, the Kabbalah, and so they have a different meaning for each of the points of the 5-pointed star. One is justice. That's what we're talking a little bit about here today. Mercy is the second. Wisdom is the third. Understanding is the fourth. And the fifth is transcendental splendor. Wow, that's powerful. And actually 2 of those are also in our 12 powers, which we're going to be doing for Christmas Day. We hope you'll join us on Christmas Day for our 12 Powers ceremony. The Baha'i faith also uses the star. And then, let me just say, that indeed, most of the symbols that we use to decorate and celebrate Christmas actually come out of the pagan tradition. So they weren't even, they were like before Jesus. And the pagans also use the 5-pointed star, and each point represents the 5 elements. So earth, fire, water, air, and then spirit. I love that. So when a pagan starts a ceremony of sorts, like we have ceremonies, they might start with honoring the 4 directions. So let's breathe. Is it hard to feel like your traditional Christmas beliefs are being pulled out right out from underneath you, knocked over? No, not at all. Because we actually have some folks who identify as pagans. And, you know, for some of us who have not educated ourselves, we hear the word pagan and we think something negative. when actually that word originated from what to call the rest of the people. Okay, we got the Christians, and we got the Jews, and we got the Muslims, and the rest of these people are pagans. And so it's not a negative thing. And then we also have witches, people who identify as Wiccan. And so, and I know some of them, and loved, just dearly adored and loved people. Are they evil? Not at all. It couldn't be further from the truth. If we could remember what was evil, it was what was done to people who identified as witches. Okay? And I would say that spells are what we in Unity call affirmative prayer. So if we could be doing anything this season, I would invite us all to begin to try to open up to what is different than how we do it, and how the mainstream culture does it, and how we believe, what we think, and what certain words trigger for us. If we could just remain open, then we can maybe not judge, and then we can feel that greater sense of oneness, because we are. That's a principle. That's a truth, okay? So 1 + 1 = 2, whether you say so or not, because that's a principle. And this oneness, this idea, this knowing, this truth of oneness is principle. You can't argue with it. Anyway, you can if you want. So why do I wish people happy holidays? Because from the 1st of November to the 15th of January, there are approximately 29 holidays observed by 7 of the world's major religions. And I don't think mine are the only ones that count. I love that. Because we are, after all, using the pagan Christmas tree. Let's give the glory to those who thought it up and used it. Someone asked me, what is your religion? I said, all the paths that lead to the light. How do I know what that is? I breathe and I center myself and I open to the goodness that I am, to the love that I am, to the light within me, and then I see the light. I love this too. Someone turned the Christmas tree upside down, and then we have the menorah. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, or not Happy Hanukkah. And then here is this great kind of description of how the Christmas tree actually came to be. It wasn't a Christmas tree because it was around before Christmas started. So the pagan origins of the Christmas tree, the tree was brought into the house so the wood spirits would be kept warm during the cold winter months. Food and treats were hung on the branches for the spirits to eat. Bells were hung on the limbs to chime when an appreciative spirit was present. A 5-pointed star, pentagon, representing the 5 elements, was placed atop the tree. So that is where it all started. See if I've got anything else here. I guess that's where we will begin to wrap this up. I did want to share something from Eric Butterworth. And some of you have signed up to join us the beginning of the year in January. We're going to start a book study that was written by Eric Butterworth. And it's called Discover the Power Within You. We hope that you will join us. let me just say in a nutshell, this is looking at different quotes, references in the Bible that may have not made any sense to you at all over the years. And it brings, and he is able to bring a meaning that is relevant to us in the 21st century to it. A powerful meaning that touches our divine selves and truly begins to allow us to be more present to that awareness. So this is a quote from Eric Butterworth, who was a Unity minister, prolific author and speaker. Christmas calls us to give birth to the Christ of our nature, symbolized by the nativity of Jesus born in a manger. We are so easily pressured into giving that is motivated by a culture of consumerism around Christmas. Giving has to be from a joyful heart, or it's not true giving. When you catch the idea of God's ultimate gift of the Christ pattern or principle and potential within you, and when you see that you are this ultimate gift of God, then you begin to understand Jesus' injunction to let your light shine, because you are the light of the world. And so it is. So it is. So let's have a period of meditation, just to allow our message here to sink in, or just for the purpose of relaxing a little deeper into this time together this morning, because it is a precious, sacred time. We really have this opportunity to be together in our oneness just once a week like this. So what a gift. The gift that I give to you this morning is my own open heart and mind. I want to, and I intend to, love you just the way you are. I've said that I probably haven't said it to Barry, but I said it to a friend of ours once, that's my job in our marriage, is to love Barry just the way he is. And I will tell you, he's better at that than I am. So will you join me in that intention this morning? To begin with loving ourselves just the way we are. Extending that love out to others. And know that because of a need for boundaries and our own need for self-care, that we can't always extend that love in a physical way. And some of that love and acceptance is done in our hearts and in our minds. And so I invite you, as I did this morning, to look around you in your day-to-day life during this most wonderful time of the year. see beyond the cultural expectations, the cultural celebration that is maybe not as traditional as you thought it was. And maybe even to find a way of educating yourself on some of these different traditions. You might find as you begin to share and talk about them that there are those among you who believe the same way and have been too afraid to share. Oh, that we could all be present to our life experience without having to dim our light. To be timid about sharing who we are. And so it is our prayer. I know you will join me in the prayer for that, for all beings to be able to stand with shoulders back, with head up, without worry of being shamed or even physically harmed for their different beliefs or lifestyle. Allow the love to flow out from your heart space. Just feel that radiating light of love flowing from you out into all the little corners of the universe where there's so much difference. It's overwhelming. Not good, not bad, just different. And I can say it's not good or not bad because God is there in all of it. And so yes, good, but how can we call it bad if God is there? So breathe now, deeper as we relax into what we know our truth is, while we also allow everyone else to know their own truth, and we can celebrate one another. Celebrate. Because it is the most wonderful time of the year. Because I choose